Hi, welcome to Sheepish, episode 52. Today is Sunday, November 23rd, 2014, and I'm Holly. How is everybody? I hope you guys have been well since we last talked. I have been, as usual, busy. One day that'll stop, hopefully. Maybe not. Busy keeps me employed, so yeah. Busy has also kept me from doing a lot of knitting. Sad. I'm going to, again, apologize right now because it seems like my camera is still doing that skippy thing. I'm assuming that it's the computer issue, which means that I may look into getting a new camera that's a non-webcam camera because I can't afford a new computer. I'm also going to apologize for the lighting because I had the windows open and it kept washing things out. So I turned on a light over here. So you get a little bit of glare on here, but you can see the things that I'm showing better. So yeah. If you are in the US, happy Thanksgiving. This is Thanksgiving week, so I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving planned. I am still figuring out Thanksgiving. I mean, I know where it's happening. I don't know if I'm cooking the turkey or not, is the big thing. And if I cook the turkey, with the weather we've been having in the DC area, it's been really, really cold and blustery. But tomorrow is like today is 46 now, and tomorrow it's 70. And Wednesday we're supposed to get snow. And I usually brine the turkey in a closed container and put it outside because the last couple of years it's been cold enough for the temperatures to be, low enough for it to actually be okay because it's in ice water and all that. Yeah. I don't know that I can do that this year, which means I'm going to have to make room in the fridge, which should be interesting. Anyway, so happy Thanksgiving. And if you are going Black Friday shopping, bless you. I will be around on Black Friday. Yeah, I'll talk more about that later. But yeah, so because I haven't had a lot to knit, or a lot of time to knit, I don't have a lot to show you guys, but I thought I'd record anyway. So let's go ahead and get started with what's on the current roster. So currently, I have my Hermione's Everyday Sock in the 12th Doctor colorway by C. Jane Knits. And this is her sock base. It is, I believe, an 80/20 merino nylon blend. And this is coming out a little blue. It's a little more green than what's showing on my monitor. Your monitor could show it perfectly. I might actually figure out how to color correct these things one day. But yeah, I do love how this is showing up, but I've gotten to that point in the pattern where, because I've knit this pattern a couple times now, I'm kind of bored with it, but I need to get through it. So I will keep going. You may notice that the last time that I showed this, I had transitioned from double points to magic loop, but on my carbons needles. Well, that was annoying me. So I ended up finding an extra pair of 1.5 Haya-Hayas, the Haya-Haya Sharps, and just started on those. It's been going quicker since I've done that. But again, I haven't had a lot of time to knit. Yesterday was probably the most time I've spent knitting on this in a while. I knit on it during the classes that I was teaching. I knit on it a little bit during last night's hockey game. Yeah. So that's all that's on the needles right now. I have a lot of things that I want to put on the needles. I just can't decide what they're going to be. So that's living in my Slip Stitch Studio Sock Plus bag. And that's just going to go down there. So that brings me to what's made the alumni roster. because there is something else that's on the alumni roster. Perhaps you may have noticed this lovely head covering. Yes, I finished my sport weight takeoff on the sock head hat. So I guess a sport head hat. I don't know. I do need to finish writing up all of my mods and get them up on Ravelry. I'll just probably put them in the projects page because yes, I need to actually start doing that again. Because it did require a little math, not much, but there are still changes that I would make to this. First, let's go over the yarn. It is the Miss Babs Yummy 3-ply Sport in the Perfectly Reckless colorway, which did this really cool spirally stripe thing. I've had some luck with that lately, and it's really, it's really cool. I love how it knits up. It's really kind of squishy, which is nice. It's warm. I have gotten a lot of use out of this hat this week. My one thing about hats like this is that they always end up moving back. And it seems like the brim has relaxed a bit. If I were to do this again, I'd probably go down a needle size. So I did this hat entirely on US 3s. So if I knit this again, I'd probably go down to US 2s for the brim and then US 3s for the rest of the hat. Because it does have a nice slouch. I never know if I'm wearing slouchy hats correctly. I know that I'm not wearing them fashionably, and I really don't care because they keep my head warm. And if I bundle my hair up in this, which I've done a couple of times, but I look really bad like that, so. But there's room to do it, so. And with hats like this, I always have to have my hair down, and I don't usually wear my hair down. So really what I need to do is basically just create a headband or just have a headband, find a headband pattern, something, because I wear my hair up so frequently. But I do like this. I will probably knit another at some point and gift it. I don't know. But yeah. So yay for a new addition to the alumni roster. And I love, love, love the colors on this. And I wasn't sure I was going to like it when I first started knitting with it. I love the colors in the skein. But when I started knitting it and it started doing the spirally thing, I wasn't sure about it. And as I kept knitting it, I really, really loved it. This was my car knitting and my work knitting because it was just so easy. Because I knit a little over 4 inches of rib, and then it was all stockinette for a really long time. Really long. Really long. And I have leftovers somewhere around here. I think they're up by my bed. Because I would knit on this at bedtime too. And it was just nice to have, like, if I was at a really long light, I could get about half of the hat done, or half of a row done, round done on this. So it was really nice to just have that. Which leads me to think that I might need to just have some stockinette stitch socks on the needles. Perhaps. But yeah, so new hat, yay! So with that, since I've gotten something, off the needles, I may have had a little bit of some additions to add to the scouting report. Perhaps just a few. And some of them will be surprises and some of them won't. I mentioned, I believe, the last time I recorded that I was waiting on a package from Little Skein and the Big Wool. And it was the Anne of Green Gables package. And it finally arrived this week. Yay! So happy. So it came in a box that had this sticker on it, or had a sticker just like this on this. This was This was closing up all the wrapping paper or the tissue paper. Now, one thing to know is that Anne of Green Gables is one of my all-time favorite books. As a child, I read all of them at a much younger age than I guess most do. But it's also one of my go-to comfort books. When I'm sick, I need a comfort reading. And sometimes that comfort reading is Jane Austen. But more often than not, it's one of two books that I will choose. I will either choose Little Women or Anne of Green Gables. I've read them many times throughout the years, whenever I'm sick. So I know these books really well. So when I saw that Little Skane was going to do an Anne kit, I had to. And that's not to say that I didn't like the other books, because I mean, I love Where the Wild Things Are. But this is Anne. So I got the Luxe Shawl Kit set, which comes with a drawstring bag. You can kind of see, there we go. And you can see how very Anne it is, because you've got this maple leaf, so Canada, and the silhouette of Anne, and you've got that on a few places in the bag. But also, if you've read the books, you love Anne, you know Anne's love for nature. And so you've got all of these just naturey themes on there, and it's beautiful, and it's nice and tall. This is supposed to hold 1 to 2 skein, a 1 to 2 skein project. It's got a nice base to it, a ribbon drawstring, a little ring here, and of course the tag. And again, in my last podcast, you saw that I had won a bag from Little Skane. So this is nice that it just adds to it. Yeah, and I ordered this before I went up to Maine. So it took a little while to get to me. I know that she was waiting on things. But in the kit, so I got this, I saw this, and that was awesome. But also, sorry for the jingling, there was an About Your Green Gables shawl kit. So it shows the pattern. And I'm not going to show you the bottom of that because that's where the pattern download is, and I need to actually go and download that. But they're having an Anne-along on Instagram, so I'm kind of excited. And the yarn. So you had your choice of 3 or 4 different colors. And I was torn between a few of them. One was a red, the color of Anne's hair, which is kind of awesome. However, I decided to go with the green. So this is a partnership with Leading Men Fiber Arts. So Leading Men Fiber Arts at bigcartel.com. Steve and Andy run this. Steve is one of the hosts of the Dramatic Knits podcast, and I've watched them for ages. Like I was watching back when Steve was doing this on his own before Callie joined him. And I have yet to get my hands on a skein, so yay. And I have 2. Now these are showing up a little darker, a little less springy green. Like it's got a lot of yellow to it, but it's not a green, like it's not so yellow that I can't wear it. So I'm really looking forward to this. This is the callback base. The color is called Green Gables, and it's 328 yards of a 100% superwash merino sport weight. So I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Steve, for doing that with Annie Lights. And it fits perfectly in the bag. Also, you got stitch markers. Let's see if I can get this to focus. Looking forward to things is half the pleasure of them, which is very true. And if I can get them open, we've got some stitch markers, which is awesome. Now, I was kind of hoping that I would get an Anne Dangle stitch marker. I didn't. I got a maple leaf, which is fine. I was really hoping I'd get Anne. So in addition to that, and I really should have thought about this beforehand, I got a dangly stitch marker. That's a leaf. I've got a ring stitch marker, a small ring stitch marker, which is on the end of the maple leaf one for some reason. And then I got some small ring stitch markers, which, you know, if you've seen one ring, you've seen them all. One ring stitch marker, but at the same time, I want to show them. So yeah, got that, which was nice. And she included a square of Ghirardelli chocolate, which, you know, how can you go wrong? But yeah, all of this fits nicely in my bag. And if you are interested in Little Skein and the Big Wool and trying to get any of these bags or kits, here is her information. Go to littleskein.etsy.com or just at littleskein.com and you can order the kits because it'll take you right to Etsy. So I'm really, really pleased with this. I am very excited to have all of that, and yay. So that one I was waiting for. I may have had a couple fall down, go boom moments, so I managed to catch a couple of updates. I caught a No Makers update. I didn't mean to, but I got the email and I saw on, it was either Instagram or Twitter, one of the two, that she was updating for some of her holiday colors. And I wanted to see, and I actually missed when the update went live. Like sometimes I'm right on top of it and I happened to miss that, which was fine. I was like, oh, I don't need yarn, but I'll go see. There was still some available. So this is called Under the Tree, and it's on the Sparkle Gnome base, which is a 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% sparkle, and it's 435 yards. I love the put up on these just because there's so much yardage. But how awesome is that? You've got the green, you've got this reddish brown going into like the deeper reds, and then this gold. Oh. And the sparkle. I don't know if you put tinsel on your tree. I no longer do. But the sparkle makes me happy. And I never knit with sparkle yarn, so I have no clue what I'm going to do with this. I like spinning sparkly fiber. So I've got some sparkle yarn that I've made. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but it's gorgeous. It may become a shawl. It may not. It may actually be socks. We don't know. But I couldn't just get that, right? So I picked up a skein of her No Place Like Gnome colorway. And this is showing up a lot deeper, like in a lot more blue. Like some of these tealy greens are showing up as more blues. Because it doesn't really have a true blue in there, but this is showing it more like that. So it looks more like a rainbow, at least on my monitor. But this is the House Gnome sock. So the House Gnome in 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon at 460 yards. And it feels fantastic. It's squishy. And I mean, I do have some No Makers in my stash that I really just need to. Yeah. So there is that. And then I also picked up, because hi, I can't just pick up a couple. This, which is Crowley in the house gnome base as well. And you've got all of these beautiful dark bits going into this. It's like a dusty rose, but darker. And you've got these browns in here and golds. So, yeah, I wasn't done. And then I am friends with Genevieve from Turtle Pearl on Facebook. And she had posted that she was doing an update. And I also follow her on Instagram as well. Yeah, she posted that she was doing an update. And I actually had never, I've never gotten any. I'd looked at the yarns before, but I'd never actually bought any Turtle Pearl yarns. So I decided, why not? So I saw this, and this reminded me of Silly Fruit, and that makes me happy. So I immediately put this in my cart. This is the striped turtle toes in the Ohm colorway. And so this is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's 460 yards, and it's divided up in 2 skeins. So 230 yards a skein, I'm assuming. And one of the things that I really like about this is because they're divided up into skeins, she gives you a little bit of instruction on here. This yarn has been dyed to be self-striping. Both strands were dyed together. This will result in perfectly matched socks that can be easily knit 2 at a time. For matching socks, ensure that you start from the same end of each ball. That's really cool. And that reminds me of, and I know that she's been doing this for ages, but that reminds me of a yarn that I've not been able to get my hands on, the mustache yarns in the OCD colors, because, yeah, that I want to get my hands on some of that as well. So that went in the cart. But again, since I was buying it, this was coming from Canada, well, I had to actually take advantage. I mean, really, why buy one thing from Canada? You want to buy a few. Make the postage worth it. So yeah, I got this, which is called Trench Coat. It is this, oh, it is like a tan and white and red and black stripes. And somewhere around here, maybe it was either on the website or somewhere, I saw how many rows each stripe was going to be, which was really kind of cool. So I'm excited to knit these up and try these out. And like I said, I think I need to have some stockinette stitch socks on the needles, and self-striping seems to be the way to go with that. So that's pretty much it as far as I can remember for what I've added. Hopefully I won't be adding much more. I need to be really good. So what's making me happy this week? Well, there are a few things. Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving makes me happy because, well, it's a shorter work week. So yay that. And my work is off, like the office is closed on the day after Thanksgiving, so that's awesome. And since I have that time, I'm going to actually go down to my LYS fiber space, and I will help work the line on Friday morning. They use an app called Oil Block, so I'll make sure that people have it downloaded and that it's ready to go and all that. So I'll make sure of all of that, and then I will just basically be working the line and just talking to people. So if you are in Old Town, if you are in the DC area, and you decide that you need yarn and you want to hit the Black Friday sale at Old Town, at Fiberspace in Old Town, come stand in line. You will probably see me, and you can say hi. And yeah, it'll probably be cold. Yay! So I will be doing that. Also, With Thanksgiving, it's the one time of year that I actually do cook something big that my dad likes. My dad is one of my harshest critics when it comes to my cooking. And I know he means well, and he criticizes because he loves, and he really does love yeah, blah, blah, blah. But I do the turkey each year. And I don't know if I'm doing it this year or not because my mother and I got into an argument over the turkey yesterday about my cooking the turkey. She likes the brining, so she wants me to brine the turkey. But yeah, it's the one thing that I make that my dad really, really loves. And I actually use Nigella Lawson's spiced turkey recipe, roast turkey recipe that's in her Feast cookbook, but also available on foodnetwork.com. It's very tasty. It's got tons of spices. You've got oranges in there. Oh, yeah. And I basically just put it in one of those 5-gallon paint buckets that have a closable lid that is airtight. Yeah, like that you get at Home Depot for like what, $3, maybe 5. I need to find that and clean that. And if occasionally they get appropriated for other uses, which even though I put only for turkey on there, which means I end up going to buy a new one just about every year. That's fine. This started a few years ago when my mother actually learned the fact that the mandolin slicers, you know, the ones that go shh, 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 that those blades are sharp. Literally, I want to say it was like 2 days before Thanksgiving. She was using one and she sliced her finger. And she could not like go in and brine the turkey and cook and like because she was just injured that badly. So instead of letting her, because she was like, oh well, we'll just buy a turkey or we'll buy a cooked meal, blah blah blah. I'm like, where? You didn't put in an order for one anywhere. So if you find one, it'll be super expensive, and also we have everything here. Just teach me how to do it. So that was the first year that I actually did that. I like cooked the meal from scratch. And the year after that, I said, no, I will do the turkey though. So I had heard about Nigella's turkey recipe and how good it was off of a TV show of all things. And it wasn't Nigella's. It was a British sitcom of all things. Gavin and Stacey, they did their Christmas special, the last Christmas special they did. They only did 3 seasons. And it was between seasons 2 and 3. And they were talking about all the trouble that this recipe was, and that, you know, the brining and blah blah blah. But everybody could not stop about how immense this turkey was. So I loved that. So I had to try it, and it was delicious. Like, my dad actually was quiet while he was eating because he was enjoying it so much. When I was like, so Daddy, what do you think? And he was just like, this is delicious. And then every year after, he's just like, you're making the turkey, right? You're making the turkey, right? Like, yes, I'm brining the turkey. But yeah, so what I usually do is, it's usually been cold enough for me to go ahead, fill up that big bucket with ice water, like lots of ice and water and all the stuff in there, and put the lid on it and put it outside on our back porch, which is not really a porch, it's just a little concrete area. But put it out there and just let it be. And no problem. It's been cold, it's been good. I think the first year I did it was still kind of warm out. So I put it in, we had to clear out and rearrange the shelves in the fridge so that way I could put this bucket in there. because it was the only thing that was big enough. Because it was, you know, I mean, we don't do really huge turkeys, but it's the only thing that's like deep enough that you can keep the turkey completely submerged in. So yeah. So I will probably be doing that. I think last year I did a 2-day brine. This year, the year before that, I did like a 1-day. The 2-day brine was delicious. So I will probably do that Tuesday night at least. So it'll get like a day and a half, almost 2 days. Because we don't start cooking the turkey until like 1 o'clock or so, 12:30, 1 o'clock. Because I meet up with my running group on Thanksgiving Day at about 11 o'clock, and we do a trail. The runners actually do trail, and those of us who are just there to socialize are there. So that's like a couple of hours. So I go do that every year, come back. If I actually went on trail, take a quick shower. Usually I didn't, so I can just go in and start cooking. You know, wash up and then start cooking. Start with the turkey. And this turkey, because I could talk forever about this turkey. I mean, it's because it's been in ice water and everything, it's cold. So it has to come up to room temperature before I can really do anything with it. So it's okay, dump the turkey out, let it sit in the sink and get all back up to room temperature. I go take a shower. So I'm excited about that. I mean, like I said, there was an argument about the turkey. I think I'm going to win the argument. So yay. And Mom, I know you're going to watch this way after. So no, love you. Hugs and kisses. Yeah. So I am happy about that. I went to see, last time I talked to you guys, I was going to see Alton Brown at the Warner Theater, and oh my God, that was incredible. It was really just the best show. And I know that the Mythbusters are going to be at the Warner tonight, and I don't have money to go see it. Let's go get tickets and see them, because I know that there are a few tickets left for tonight's show, but I don't have money for it. So no, I'm being good, because I had to buy 4 new tires for my car, and I could have done them 2 and 2, but it made no sense to just do 2 and 2. So buy all 4. I'm going to be poor for a little while. Oh well. But yeah, so there's that. I'm trying to think of what else is making me happy. What I will be seeing my bestie in like 2 weeks. 2 weeks she's coming out. And we will go down to North Carolina and be stupid with friends and then come back. And then she'll go home again until New Year's, at which point we get to go to the Winter Classic and freeze our butts off outside. But yeah, so I am very excited about that. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. It looks like we're about a little over 30 minutes in, and I'm okay with that. Because there's just not a lot of to talk about. I've got a few things that I have queued up. I've been searching for a pattern to use up some yarn that I got. So you guys know that I was in the Mad Tosh Sweater Club twice. I've not used up all the yarn from those. I don't know that I actually will ever use up all the yarn from those, but I've got a sweater's worth of the 80-10-10 worsted and the 80-10-10 fingering that I really want to use, because my Narragansett sweater, so the blue sweater with the faux cabling, that's done in the 80-10-10 worsted in the Wellwater colorway, I think it is. Well, I've got another sweater's worth of that, of the worsted, in the Whiskey Barrel colorway, and I got a sweater's worth of 80-10-10 fingering in Sketchbook. Now it's looking a lot more gray than it is to me. Like, to me, it looks a lot more purple. So like a purpley gray. Still very gray, still kind of dark, which is nice. So I'm looking for a sweater pattern for this. So I've narrowed it down to a few things. I'm probably going to do a few swatches, because I have 8 skeins of this. I don't know how I got 8 skeins of this. because I should be able to do a sweater, most sweaters in either 4 or 5, but I got 8 skeins magically. All same dye lot, thank God. But yeah, so I'm looking for a good sweater pattern, whether I want to do just like a simple cardigan. I was thinking about, and I printed it off because I was going to swatch for this later today, the Audrey cardigan by Jane Richmond. So it's garter stitch. I don't know if that much garter stitch would drive me nuts or not. Probably would, but it's beautiful. I was also thinking about the Hannah Fettig. It's not gathered pullover. It's got like a collar on it. Christine Pat's fan. She knit one, and she's probably screaming it out right now, screaming out the name of it. I could look in what I've actually done, but or what I've queued. I've been going through a few baby cocktails patterns to see if I wanted to do it, but yeah. So there is that. Hopefully I will have decided on something and maybe started something by the next time I record. We'll see. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. Have a great week, everybody. I will try to record next week because I probably won't be recording the week after that, or if I do, it'll be during the week. Yeah, so have a great week, and I will talk to you guys soon. Keep knitting, spinning, crocheting, and stitching on. Bye.